What's up everyone? Welcome back to another figure review. My name is Mushi and today we're gonna take a closer look at Yoshimitsu Light Warrior from Bro Toys. Well, this is no doubt Yoshimitsu from Tekken 3 and this particular design is done by Raf Grassetti. I hope I said that right. He's a 3D concept artist that is behind this gorgeous sculpt. This is an unlicensed product, so I do not encourage people to, get it if you want. You don't want it, don't get it. Pretty easy. Just to get that out of the way, the box pretty simple. Front of the box, side of the box, the logo here, Bro Toys. It's a pretty odd name for a figure company, but whatever. So back to this figure. This figure is actually pretty cool. In terms of looks, this guy is packed with details, if you can see. Like the armor themselves, they're not just like painted and all that, but it's sculpted in a way where you can see all the dents and the detail. Even on the biceps here, they're just not simply just red. You have a black wash over it and also like highlight details as if it's like hand painted. I don't know if it's really hand painted or not, but really the figure looks amazing. In terms of paint and like look wise, I think it's safe to say it's 10 out of 10, man. It's crazy. If you look at him just straight on like this, you can't even see the joints. It just almost looks like a sculpted, resin figure that you display and can't be moved. But this figure, spoiler alert, very good articulation. Before we move on to articulation, I would like to point out that all throughout this figure, there's a lot of, I think majority of the armor are made out of a very soft kind of rubbery material. So as you can see here for the head, the biceps, the chest, the side of the chest here, as you can see, skirt armors, the waist armor here is also in a soft plastic. And interestingly enough, the thigh armor here is just a sleeve for the joint or the skeleton inside. So this is also in a very soft plastic material. Now with that out of the way, let's get to the articulation. So the head, it's connected by a lot of ball joints actually. So we have one at the base of the head, the top of the neck, and also another one here at the base of the neck. So you can actually move this really freely. You can do the jig thing, side to side. So you can look up pretty high. I think you can go further than this, but I do not want to pop out the ball joints and do not want to break anything. And for down, altogether, you can look down that far, because you can move the head 360 side to side and all around. As expected, a very good amount of head movement. So for the body, this is really interesting because it's separated into a couple of parts: the upper body, middle torso, and also the lower part of the torso here. It goes back pretty alright. It's not really that far, but it's super good. And you can really have him do a serious ab crunch here. That's just, everything's just here, right? It's not really the legs or anything. Like usually you would move the legs to fake this ab crunch, but he can do it. Thanks to the multi-section parts, you don't really leave like gaps behind, so it won't look ugly. Rather, it looks very sick. As you can see, this chainmail, it has silver paints all over the chainmail, which is very good. It separates the outer layer of the chainmail and also the inner part where it's black. And that is, in my opinion, very cool. Look at that. I think this is my first time seeing like the side of the chest being rubberish. I think it's good for the articulation. I think it's not that bad. It's pretty good. You close up the gap here and it looks pretty natural to me. Make sure that it's tucked inside the waist armor here so that you can move. Look at that. It's alright. It does the job. Moving on to the arms, the shoulder pads are free floating with a rubber material connecting to another rubber material. It won't stay, but it does the job on not getting into the way of articulation. So you can move this anywhere you want. So for the hands, there's a big ball socket inside and also connected to a kind of Revoltech kind of joint. Like it's a ball hinge. Thanks to the upper body and everything being like made in a very soft material, you can really get his arm across to touch the shoulder. Like this looks very simple, but like not all figurines can do this. Like look at that. That's very impressive. So this means that you can really have him like doing the cross arm pose, no problem. I forgot to mention that he has an articulated jaw. It adds on to the expression of the pose that you're going for, right? Of course, the hands can go full 360. Wow, that's very easy. And I like how the joints are very tight. You don't have to worry about him holding like heavy accessories and all that, so that's a plus. This is free floating, and then you have a bicep swivel here. Elbow, it's very interesting as well because they went with a design where you can't see the joints because I think they're using like a pin joint like here and here. So we have a double jointed elbow. It's very simple, but it's very, very nicely done. Almost a complete bend here, which is very, very nice. Look at that. Super, super cool. For the wrist, it's a simple ball joint, so you can move it around. It also has a hinge for you to move up that far and down that far. Before we get down to the waist section, I think it's best to take off the sword sheaths so that nothing gets in the way. Again, soft plastic for the entirety of the waist armor here. Inside, they don't have to do this, but I'm glad they did. So they have like this cloth kind of wrap. Kind of looks like boxers to me. This also gives a little bit more realism and also more layers to the figure itself. It really helps on hiding the joints without hindering the articulation, so that's very nice. It's connected to the waist armor by a velcro here, and also to connect to each other they also have velcro here to wrap around the ass. For the leg articulation, you can really have his legs out like that, sideways like that, and also do the splits, no problem. Knee articulation, thanks to the rubbery pants he has, so you can really push it to the max with separated knee armors, also in soft plastic. For the feet, you can go down this far, go up that far, and it has a toe joint, a very, very good toe joint. It can also stand on one leg, thanks to the feet being flat. That's very nice. And this is where the problem comes in. I would much prefer the feet being ball jointed. I understand that it gets loose over time, but to pose with hinged like feet, it's kind of hard. If you have him in a wide pose like this, you can't like bend his ankle inwards or outwards. The only way to do that is that you can position the hinge so that it has a little bit more tilt, but you can't have the feet to go up and down. It's very awkward to pose. You can still work with it, but like I would appreciate if it's like actually a good ball joint for you to work with. As for the accessories, you get quite a bit out of the box. So there's two versions of the figure, normal edition and also the deluxe edition. For the normal edition of the figure, you get this much stuffs, as you can see on the left hand side. So if you're like me and you went for the deluxe edition, you'll get extra stuffs, as you can see on the right hand side here. So it comes with a little bit more effects and a stand. Taking a closer look at the sword, and this is the one and only Yoshimitsu. A little bit of lore. The name Yoshimitsu is not really the user, but the blade itself. So whoever possesses this cursed blade Yoshimitsu shall be named Yoshimitsu. That's a lot of Yoshimitsus. As you can see, it's very, very nicely painted. If you take a closer look at the gold sections, there's actually like a black wash going on through the gold so that you can see the sculpted details better. Unsheathing the blade, you can see the die-cast blade, also covered in blood effects. Yes, this is made out of a die-cast material, so it's a little bit heavy than your typical plastic blade. It is done in a very, very chrome kind of finish. I would actually prefer it to be a little bit more matte, if that makes any sense. This one kind of looks a little bit more cheap. I guess all the budget went to the figure. But hey, it all comes down to preference. If you like this, good for you. One thing to note is that, I don't know what we call this, it's actually molded in the same die-cast material, so it is not in a different color. Another thing to note is that the blades are very loose. They don't really hold the blade that well, so if you like tilt, it'll just fall out. Be careful with that. In terms of interchangeable hands, you get 8 in total, including the one that's installed with the figure out of the box. Of course, the most important one is the gripping hand for the blade. You get a pair of closed fists, and these are really, really nicely sculpted and painted as well. You get an open palm gestured hands. So you get an open palm hand for the left, and you get like this ninjutsu kind of hand on the right. To be honest, I think they should include like one of each for both hands. Just why not? Just throw it in there, you know? I don't really like when they do this. They just include like one of each instead of giving both hands. So you get 2 of this exact same sculpted flashing effects. This is how you put it on. You can have it on the tip, you can have it in the middle, or you can have it down there. Next, you get a fire effect for your blade, and just slide it in like so. This is how it looks like on the blade. They're exactly the same in terms of height and sculpt. And finally, for the deluxe, you get a base. So this base is not just a base, it has gimmicks of its own. You can open it up and store your accessories inside if you're not using them. This is a very neat feature. I really like it when they do this, so that you can just store everything at one place. And one extra feature is that you can light up the stand with the magnet that is included in the box. In my humble opinion, I don't really care about this feature because it doesn't even look that good. It's alright. I mean, I would have preferred it to actually light up the whole stage instead of like just one dot. It really feels like an afterthought instead of like a feature that they want us to use, so I don't really care. Oh yeah, they included the battery as well, so you don't need to look for another battery for that. If you're into that, that's very good. Personally, I don't really care, so there's that. And finally, the most important accessory, I think, is the wrist bags. Extra wrist bags in case if you break the ones on the figure already. Here he is beside Sexy Ice's figurines. They actually scale pretty well together, and it's not really that far off because it's not really 112. It's a little bit on the bigger side. So here it is with the Sexy Ice figurine Smasher and also Manticora. Here he is next to a Kamen Rider SKC and also Rebecca from Roman Kikals. And as you can see, he's a little bit more taller than both of these figures, which is 112 scale. And finally, with an SIC Kamen Rider Gaim figure, I really like how they look together because first impressions when I dealt with this figure, I actually get the same feeling that I had with the SIC Kamen Rider Gaim or other SICs because how the joints work, they're very much similar with each other. In terms of height, they're really the same height. I really like how these guys look together, so yeah. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys really enjoyed the video, please comment and subscribe, like the video, do whatever you can to support this channel so that there's more content coming your way. Also, please do let me know if you guys want me to review any other figurines that I have in my collection. So that's it for Bro Toys Light Warrior, or aka Yoshimitsu from Tekken 3, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Oh.